Welcome to the ManhwaCappedverse. If you enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. The world ends, and people flee in panic. He grabs the nurse, but a zombie breaks in. Desperate, he pushes her toward it and runs. The hero arrives just in time and saves her. They rush to the poison room. He injects all the viruses. She's terrified and steps back. He's traveled to AD 2035, where Zeus's will created a purgatory, wiping out over 90% of humans, turning them into fiery monsters. Some survivors may gain powers, don magical costumes and artifacts, and return to Earth. In my past life, I worked hard for Heloise's luck, completing hundreds of missions. One more failure would anger the Dark Lady, who would destroy me, the former Earthmaster. The human race was so wretched. I was unhappy and hateful. As I was consumed by an abyss, my desert pendant turned back time, and I awoke in a hostel. After a moment, I realized I was back at the start of purgatory. I vowed to crush Hercules for what he did to me recently, with vengeance. In my past life, I had a common talent. In this life, I needed to awaken it before the apocalypse. Remembering a record, the talent activated 10 days before the trial. To upgrade it, viruses were needed. Disguised, I went to a hospital, sneaked in, and found a zombie. I inserted a needle into its blood. Within seconds, I left unnoticed. The zombie virus was deadly. I hesitated, knowing I might not survive. Remembering my past weakness, I took a deep breath to gain strength. I injected the virus into my arm. As the dark red liquid entered, pain hit me hard. My face went pale, blood vessels clotted, heart pounding. I collapsed, dreaming of Hercules, who tempted me to submit, but I resisted. In this generation, I vowed to defeat you and clear my mind. Sunlight filled the dorm as time passed. My roommates returned from the internet cafe, shocked. I woke up, rushed to the bathroom, and saw the virus fading in the mirror. Elated, I felt my talent rise. I upgraded my power. A voice said, "Congrats, you're a new Walker power with early awakening." I opened the system panel and saw Poison Monarch, the highest level. I never imagined my power would be so great, allowing full absorption and use. I saw what was ahead. I could create new viruses, but my skills were limited. I needed more viruses to grow stronger, so I went to the nearby hospital. I forgot it was the first wave of the zombie crisis. People fled in panic when they saw me. An old man yelled to run, but I smiled. I got the virus upgrade, restored the girl's mind, and she thanked me. I copied my upgrade experience. A big zombie rushed at me, but I used my skill and felt energized. After this upgrade, I hunted in Schmidt's hospital, hearing zombies outside the fourth-floor bathroom where I hid. Liu Feng, appearing lifeless, observed the nurse he had pursued for many years. A wicked thought crossed his mind. "I've been chasing you for so long, and you still won't let me have any enjoyment before I die." Suddenly, a corpse barged in. Liu shoved her towards it and leaped out the window. From the fourth floor, there was a warm nurse lying there, possibly able to be saved. I figured the army would soon seal off the area, so I needed someone to guide me. I managed to extract the zombie virus, hoping to bring her back from unconsciousness. She eventually woke up, expressed her gratitude, and I felt relieved she had returned. The nurse, about 6'6" in a worn uniform, stood out. Suddenly gunshots were heard outside. I needed him to take me to the virus room. We reached the lab with various viruses. Seeing the girl's shock, I absorbed many viruses into my brain. The system warned of evolving zombie viruses. Blacklight, departmental, and zombie viruses were there. Blacklight viruses could heal me, so I chose them. The nurses warned of a zombie coming, perfect for testing my technique. I rushed, grabbed the zombie's neck, and started absorbing. I was thrilled to be here. Tentacles suddenly cover my hand, consuming the corpse. As they disappear, the body is gone, and my strength returns. The girl is scared at first, but then relieved, trusting I won't hurt her. She says her name is Liu Ruyan. Suddenly, gunshots sound outside. The army is near. I rush to the rooftop with Liu Ruyan. As we arrive, a mutated zombie attacks. I can't dodge, and my arm is cut, bleeding. Liu Ruyan sees my wound and smiles deeply. Feeling anxious and excited, I thought about the virus evolving if inhaled. The zombie lunged, I dodged and kicked it, narrowly escaping. My quick moves saved me. I devoured 2 corpses, restoring energy, and hit the mutated corpse hard. It hit the wall, leaving a shallow mark, roaring furiously. As I planned to take him down, Liu Ruyan broke the cabinet, grabbed a fireproof axe, and tossed it to me. With the axe, I dodged the zombie, striking its chest. Black blood erupted. After 300 rounds, I stepped on his head for the final blow. Suddenly, he punched my chest, pinning me. Liu Ruyan looked worried as the zombie tried to tear me apart. I laughed, and tentacles emerged from my chest, engulfing the zombie. When I touched it, the zombie was completely devoured, and I acquired its skills. I grinned evilly. Although the black light virus wasn't enough, I knew I'd rise soon. Soldiers appeared, but their bullets were useless against me. With Liu Ruyan's help, I managed to reach the rooftop, got her address, and followed Su Xing back home. Once inside, Liu Ruyan insisted on checking me. I assured her I was fine, but allowed her to examine me. Seeing her cute face, I took off my shirt, admired my muscles, and felt a sense of pride. Liu Ruyan blushed, pointing at my arm, saying, "There's still a mark." I scratched my head and joked, "Want me to heal fast? Let me eat you." She seemed to like me. Liu Ruyan said, "If you want to eat steel, go ahead." I hugged her, saying her home was perfect. I didn't know he was clean and asked me to bathe, so I asked him to rub my back. At night, Ruyan woke in my arms, thanking me for a second life. He struggled onto me, and the night passed. Next morning, I got messages, including one from Mr. Sung, a suitor I hadn't replied to lately. At breakfast, Liu Ruyan's phone rang. 2 men claimed to be Song Zixiong. When he approached me to be his daughter and son-in-law, I knew why. At Liu Ruyan's house, I guessed he had info. He's top in the Black-White Secret Society. I smiled and asked why. A man in the hospital filmed my fight and found Liu Ruyan's soldier, Liu Feng, on the survivor list. Seeing Liu Feng's name, my face darkened. Liu Ruyan had told me Liu Feng tried to rape her and pushed her into a corpse, getting her bitten. I had to avenge her. But Song Zixiong wanted me to be her man to reveal Liu Feng's location. I smiled faintly. Auntie Song underestimated me. I showed my skill and stood with my hands. Song Zixiong was taken aback, yet he possessed knowledge that others lacked, and he couldn't be overpowered by a mere claws. I inquired, "Why are you drawn to an older aunt like me when there's a young nurse nearby?" I leaned closer, gently stroked his face, and remarked that a mature woman is indeed luckier, then brought up Nosferatu. Song Zixiong, a remarkable man versed in both black and white, wouldn't be easily subdued, but he agreed to collaborate. He softly confessed he sought a man capable of conquering him, one who could stand against monsters, consume 10,000 caddies of frozen beef, and still yearn for the monsters. As I drew near to my Zhao whispered to conquer another day. Later, he said Zhao from Jiangcheng military region negotiated to use my freezer for bodies and survivors. Corpses were usual size, none this big. I thought they might mutate more under extreme conditions. Then I remembered 3 odd events, like bombings. Seeing the mutated zombie excited me, thinking it could help me evolve. I reassured Song Zidome, saying I'd arrive soon. Meanwhile, the zombie broke through, grabbed a soldier, and was unharmed by weapons. As the officer was stuck, Song Zidome called to stop. When Song Zidome spoke, Zhao was puzzled. Song Zidome added that ordinary weapons can't harm the monster, and it would be futile for his men. Better to cover the wounded and retreat. Luckily, I arrived just in time to save the girl. I didn't realize she had grown so strong. Her body was like a rock. A single blow shocked my arm. As the corpse attacked again, I maneuvered, stopped, and struck several wounds. The corpse growled and swung furiously. I quickly distanced myself, making it roar and yell. It swung with all its might, and I dodged easily. Captain Zhao was shocked by the scene. Shocked, I ranted about the monster. Song Zidome licked his lips secretly. My partner was interrupted by the monster. Standing in the busted freezer, I saw snowflake beef and activated my devouring technique. I devoured tons of beef, regaining strength as a system voice echoed. The corpse growled and attacked. I was thrilled as the wall collapsed. The corpse searched, lost in thought. My eyes cold, I unleashed ancient claws, delivering a killing blow. A purple shockwave hit the corpse's brain, dazing it. I wrapped devouring tentacles around it, and the black light tentacles sucked it. I was thrilled to survive. The virus began to pour into my body. Captain Zhao was alarmed and said, "This isn't human, it's a monster." As I absorbed the corpses, Zhao was ready to launch a missile to eliminate us. Just as he was about to give coordinates, Song Zixiong warned him to be quiet. 5 seconds later, I absorbed the zombie, unlocking a new skill, virus infiltration. The commander ordered the army on alert. Song Zixiong warned Zhao, "Don't forget what you said." I coldly observed the surroundings, ignoring the troops, focusing on the virus ability and black light on my arm. After the drastic enhancement, my dark force claws evolved again. Heavy Hammer smiled at his form. The rare corpse's inner elixir was the greatest gain today. It could build equipment or a growing wall of flesh. Song Ziqiang approached me. I collected the elixir and met Lu Li, a beautiful black silk woman just saved, a popular netizen and radio reporter in Jiangcheng. I softly said, "You filmed me in the hospital." Lu Li thanked me and offered to delete the video. I told her to keep it. The company's commander interrupted. Commander Huang Xinchu invited me for tea to discuss a case I knew. Hearing Huang Xinchu's name, my face fell. In my past life, he recruited awakened ones for national duty, and when powerful, he targeted ordinary awakened ones. I was among them. We fought hard, but starved, and those who resisted were called traitors. Song Ziqiang noticed my reaction and said coldly, "I'll handle it." He approached Zhao Lianchang. As a leading figure in Jiangcheng, Song Ziqiang was as strong as Huang Xinchu. Facing Zhao Lianchang, who ignored national justice, Song Ziqiang coldly said he wasn't qualified to challenge an army captain, leaving Zhao Lianchang unsure of himself. "What's happening?" When the subordinate next to me suddenly reported that among the isolated survivors was Liu Feng, the son of the deputy director of the hospital, who was not easy to handle. Upon hearing this news, I smiled evilly and immediately said to ask him to come out. Liu Feng was brought over very quickly, but he was still naive enough to think that it was the phrase, "My father is the director of the hospital," that had frightened us lowly people. I quietly told him that Ruyan told me that he was going to kill you in bed last night, and as he froze, I backed up and shouted that he had been infected and was going to turn into a zombie. At this, Liu Feng was furious, and now I rushed at him, "You son of a bitch." However, in the next second, his body distorted and his pupils dilated, and he instantly turned into a corpse. Nodding, I told Song Zidong, "You've done well today. Here's a secret." He was impressed by my power and said, "Why call me Zidome?" He took my hand, saying, "Shall I be your man tonight?" I smiled. "Depends on your performance." I got into his Mills 7, heading to his place, checking rewards for killing mutated necromorphs. I found 2 skill books, Berserk Bloodlust and Muscle Enhancement. They have side effects and cooldowns, not useful for me now, but valuable to others. The 6 gold coins from the Flesh Mountain Zombie helped me form the 01 group. Pioneers like me are organizing their own groups. We soon reached the secluded villa, Sung Tzu Dome. I explained how the desert was coming. This should help you manage the situation and seize its opportunities. The dome knew no ordinary man could survive in the last days. He asked if this info was enough for survival, and how to be my protector. I said I needed loyalty like a dog to its master, not useless rubbish. He froze, afraid to admit wanting loyalty. I mocked him, saying after the world's end, his wealth would be worthless except for beauty. Even if he and his daughter survived, they'd be playthings. Songzi Dome asked the difference between being my loyal dog and others' plaything. I smiled, saying the difference is I can make him stronger. You remain the world's most powerful queen. Song Zidome hesitated no more, sensing he'd miss a key chance. He knelt, pledging loyalty. Seeing Jiang Cheng's queen at my feet excited me. The phone rang. It was Song. Confused, he asked why I answered my mom's phone. I smiled, saying she was eating and couldn't talk, urging him to return as it was important. Song wanted to speak, but I hung up. He vowed to bring me under his groups. Song Zidome, eating, paused and looked at me pleadingly. I hope I can protect his daughter till the end. I smiled, touched his head and said, work hard, and he won't become a monster when purgatory comes. Song Zedong said, thank you, my lord. Time flew by. Then, a Rolls-Royce arrived with a gift for Song, complaining about Chen Bo. Song Zedong told him not to talk as he exited the car. Meanwhile, Song Zedong's men and I reached a warehouse, once an underground den, now filled with zombie crops and gamblers. I activated my wrist to kill mode, the iron door opened, and hundreds of zombies roared out. Song, terrified, watched Liu Ruyan use her phone to visualize the zombies. When I saw the formula and saw it coming at me quickly, I saw that the zombie reaper's name was a zombie revelation. All attributes +5% for zombie damage. 500 copies of the zombie virus had been collected and could be exchanged for the zombie virus serum formula by exchanging the virus points in the zombie virus section in the assignment of the zombie virus. Now that I have the formula for the zombie virus, it means I have the power of life and death over most of the people. Then I called Song Zedong and the others in to help them adapt to the end of the world and also to train them. I've just left a few weak zombies, one for each of you. Who's going to go first? Just as the yin and yang had fallen, Chen Li attacked the zombies and with a beautiful over-the-shoulder fall, he knocked the zombies to the ground, and with a loud kaboom, the zombies fell to the ground. With a loud kaboom, the corpse lost its life. Seeing this, I was satisfied. Quick and decisive, worth nurturing. Next was Song Ziqiang. With a bat, he smashed the zombie's head, but his strength was lacking. Against multiple zombies, he'd be at risk. Liu Ruyan was overpowered due to weakness, but used anatomy knowledge to survive. I sighed. One not as good as the other. Unexpectedly, Song hadn't fought yet, but was so scared he fell and urinated. Disappointed, I called Song Zedong, who was comforting his daughter, to continue searching for the corpse and arranged for Song to fight. Song Zedong, worried, looked at his daughter. I gave him the virus prescription. Song Zishong was quite surprised and promised to handle the situation. I explained the method to him, and he thanked me for it. Later on, I checked my phone for any replies to my earlier posts. Many people thought the video was fake, and some even called me crazy. However, one private message stood out. It was from a Class S Spirit Master. After chatting for a bit, I added him to the 01 group. He mentioned Shui Chuan, another awakened one. I was thrilled because in my past life, emperors sought out strong men. Recruiting him would be pivotal. The next morning, Lu Li had a conversation with Song Ziqiang. The corpses were collected by the forces of the Lord of Jiangcheng and sent to the container yard near the yard head. I sent some men to try to get more information. It was now the appointed time, but they didn't come back. At that moment, a voice suddenly came out. There was no need to wait any longer. The two men then smashed into Liu Li's face. The man gave her an enthusiastic wave. Liu Li looked up and realized that she'd been found out long ago. Meanwhile, in Song Zedong's private villa, I was chatting with the newest member of the chat group, the 4S Awakened, when Song Zedong came to me urgently and said, I've got information that Lu Li has been captured, and all the corpses have been sent to Mankai Container Depot, but Lu Li has been captured, and they've demanded that I negotiate with them. Listen. Song Zedong knelt down and said, My lord, Lu Li is my protege. He won't be sentenced. He's conducting an investigation. The issue is with his men. Seeing his determination, I replied, I'll save him. The man said, Lu Li, come drink with me. Lu Li resisted, so the man smashed the glass. Refuse the wine, and you'll face the penalty. He poured more wine, saying, Don't be foolish. I spared you for Song Zipo's sake, but if he submits, he's mine. If not, you're just my toy. I then appeared and cut a steak on the table. The man was shocked to see someone quietly sitting there. I walked to Lu Li with a steak, saying, This steak's good. As I neared, the man backed away, asking, Who are you? I ignored him, telling Lu Li, I'm here to take him home. The man regained confidence, sat, shook his wine, and said, The Song Dome sent you. You must be a forerunner. I untied Lu Li, saying, The dome's waiting outside. The man then realized Song Zedong was with us. He said, You're a fast learner. Didn't know the Queen of Jiangcheng was tamed by you. He ordered wine and asked for my help to become King of Jiangcheng. The man appeared utterly shocked when I refused, slamming his glass as he savored his wine. I calmly explained, I witnessed you creating zombies. It's better to remain alive than dead. My skills are not for you. I'm level 3S. He bragged about killing and acquiring attributes, claiming he would find out after killing me. Releasing the Gundam's grip, he desired my attributes. I replied confidently, "You cannot." Effortlessly, I blocked her attack, and she charged at me. I summoned my immense power and hammer, crashing it down forcefully, shattering the ground beneath us. 3 minutes remained. The woman, seeking adventure, took on a risky mission. To save Lu Li, I faced an S-class foe. He attacked fiercely. I dodged, countered, and sent him flying. He returned, but I blocked and struck. He sneered, "Is that it? Aren't you a third grader?" I smiled, knowing he hadn't seen my true power. In his intense fury, his energy struck me with great force. "Thief! I'll crush you!" he yelled, throwing me aside. "You're nothing but a bluffer, just a mere critter," he sneered with disdain. He spat ink, and the system alerted me to the viruses that were draining his blood. His fierce expression faded as I calmly said, "Those viruses took time. How do you feel now?" He paused, accepting his fate, and then, in a fit of rage, launched a final attack. The vile man ended his own life, and the boy emerged victorious. It was my move. A black tiger, heart of gold, a cry, a kick to the chest. I said coldly, "Vile, I told you my powers aren't ordinary." The system prompt went off. Blacklight virus completed awakening, boosting attributes, evolving blacklight swallowing. The system panel brought joy. Killing the awakened dropped zombie claws and Class C biohazard drawing. They're mine now. I remembered, from a beaten slave to the highest awakened. And, as Chen Bai counted the beauties, I felt like the Lord of Heaven. I left the warehouse, and Song Zedong, looking sexy, opened the car door. In the car, I told Song Zedong that with my current strength, small monsters weren't helpful. I explained the plans to improve abilities and what needed doing before the day's end. At the villa, I enjoyed the night view when a knock came. Song Zedong, in alluring attire, reported they had done what I asked. The villa was safe from the last day's descent, allowing us to take control. Song Zedong subtly asked, "Do you need us to serve you?" "Sorry, can't help now. Let me know if I can do more. Thanks." When the red moon finally arrived, a deep darkness engulfed the entire city, and the man hurried away to compete with the voice of a god. The world had ended, monsters appeared everywhere, and a virus mutated over 80% of humanity. Survivors evolved, gaining more strength through experience. Mysterious realms and rifts emerged, with new races joining the ongoing life-and-death struggle. Silken White clenched his fist, pondering whether it was a danger or an opportunity, relying on his strengths. Suddenly, the system's voice echoed, and the sand filter of time recognized its masters and started binding. I looked back in amazement. I realized time had stopped. Everyone was frozen, even the plane. Auras flooded into me, and the system bound me. I could now go back to the past, no more regret pills needed. Did I have regrets, like missing a girl, or not studying hard? For those who love this hospital, you'll be rich tomorrow, no regrets. But I must wait 72 years to cool down. Thanks to the leaky cauldron, I revived and gained another skill, retaining my current state with just a 1-hour cooldown. I'm thrilled to be nearly immortal, free from worries and fear. Song Zedong's voice reached me, and time seemed to feel normal. I warned them that night was dangerous, advising them to secure the villa and prepare for a hunt. By morning, the city lay in ruins, with criminals at the villa gate. Song Zedong swiftly defeated them. Lu Li mentioned that my master, Sister Zedong, had evolved with an S-grade skill, transforming objects into amethyst crystals for both attack and defense. I have the ability to see target attributes to locate water crystals. Joining us is Song Zichong's bodyguard, a swift and deadly assassin, feared by S-grade awakened individuals. A bodyguard called for help, and a nurse awoke with a unique breastfeeding technique, a B-grade, keeping many alive. I reached the secret base, and Song updated me on the situation. I nodded, knowing my sisters evolved, and I had to rely on myself to survive. Trusting the man in front of me, I told him to wait until evening. I had urgent tasks. A sound and strong wind swept me to Jiangcheng University. I recalled seeing a sky sign on the first day of the last day in my past life. realizing its meaning too late. Now, I'm at Jiangcheng University. After having easily disposed of a group of small microphones, I looked up into the sky and saw one of them speeding towards me, remembering that in a previous life, the head of a god had come down here in the form of an avatar, a sign that all evolved beings would have liked to see, and then a feminine voice interrupted my recollection. Now, as a man of two worlds, I was already tempted to take his place, and it would be a great honor for me to do business with you. I had the pleasure of hearing about your divine, kind, fair, generous, rich, and powerful god of trade, Ledogar, who had just finished with a foreigner. After I had looked around for a medical student, and the only answers I got were from either the civil or mechanical generation, all of whom were chin-schooled, hard-working men, I was pointed to the panicked foreigner, who was in a panic, and who had been killed. A foreigner, who was in a state of panic. The girl claimed she was from medical school. She insisted on her innocence, saying she had a yellow heart despite being white, and emphasized she was the yellow type. Everyone laughed. The girl at the table turned away in shame. Yang Nu trembled with fear. Thankfully, another girl said she told the foreigners not to beat them. I told Yang Nui to stay. Others could go to Dongshan Villa in Jiangcheng and use my name, Chen Bai, for help. They looked confused. Leaving school meant facing zombies and likely death. I told them bluntly that zombies were evolving, and staying meant facing death if they didn't leave. The herd thanked me for guiding them to the villa. As they left, the goat girl asked, "Can I go with them?" A suspicion arose, and she said, "You like foreign winks, so you want wannabe wives to keep me. Is that it? Please don't hurt me. I'll be your girl." I smiled and said, "You're wrong. I'm not interested in wannabe wives, goat girls. I just want you to take me to the hospital for something." She lowered her head, apologizing. Then in shock she said, "Chen, don't humiliate me. I haven't been ridden yet. If you don't believe me, I can prove it." The system panel appeared, saying, "I'm curious about him." I replied, "This picture's too long, skipping 3 hours." The girl asked, "Can't you rest before the hospital?" I said, "No." I hugged her waist, and soon we were at the hospital's research floor. Yannick said, "You're flying faster now." I ignored him. Yannick repeated, "You're faster now." Yang Nui mentioned bacteria and viruses on the 3rd floor and a hidden room underground. We went to the virus room and I smiled at the vial colors, releasing the virus absorbent for flu types like pseudo-B, B, C, and Mycobacterium influenza. Then the system panel appeared, saying, "Observing this, it dawned on me that an upgrade was possible. So, I went ahead and upgraded, only to find out I was dealing with influenza. This particular illness releases viruses that diminish attributes and introduce negatives. Sneezing, for instance, affects the precision of silver breaks and sword aim." I pondered. Sneezing isn't favorable. It warranted contemplation. While exploring skills, I realized I hadn't taken viruses seriously enough. An upgrade was necessary. With virus points at my disposal, it was clear that Raito's mission wouldn't be straightforward. Let's focus on enhancing strength. The Jester's skill, Flying Gable, improves balance and direction by utilizing the black light virus, which boosts momentum and reaction time. The shin wall cracked instantly, and the girl was horrified. She felt lucky she hadn't used this attack on me, or she wouldn't know how she died. I smiled, realizing the technique's principle. Controlling muscles, even briefly, can turn a normal attack into bludgeoning damage. Her cheeks reddened. I asked if she wanted to try the attack, and she took me to the underground cremation room. She told me to stay and wait for her. In the incinerator, I entered a battle state. Corpses covered in white cloth woke and charged at me. I immediately reacted to the scene. But he was already the strongest fighter I've seen. I killed one instantly with a blow, while another zombie gathered skills on its head and stood before my heavy hammer. After killing the zombie, I felt I deserved the special side quest. I then looked at the incinerator pot, wanting to help the sidebook boss break the opening. Suddenly, a loud sound made me serious when I saw the hidden meat block. It made me uneasy, and I was ready to kill it before it transformed. But the next second, the meat blocked my attack with its telephonic arm. Immediately after, I released the group control technique. The evangelist flu was dispersed by the monster's roar, prompting me to use the group control technique to attack. In the next moment, a blow from the meat block sent me flying, and the arm I struck began to heal. We fought again, and I severed the bioman's armband, but it couldn't be severed again. Thrilled, I realized I finally met an opponent who could challenge me. I used the bioman to activate my strength and let him do what he wanted. Despite injuries, he healed instantly, so I activated my killing power to test his immortality. After 2.5 hours, he was worn down. Another hour passed, and I urged him to recover. After 2.5 minutes, he was reduced to a piece of flesh, but he was the strongest bioman I'd seen. After defeating the biohazard, I leveled up to 5. Clearing the incineration furnace side quest made it permanent. I remembered to upload the clearance video as a paid attack. I hid my face and name. Suddenly, a video by a man named White appeared, and all the Purifier Fathers watched. Some couldn't see my speed and had to slow it down. They said I was fierce and fast, but some felt my style wasn't for everyone, as the biochemistry demon's recovery is quick. Most were amazed by my power, and the group got excited. Some complained about the difference between them and me, while others admired my strength and power. Some saw such a strong... My boss thought there were other solutions. I absorbed the biotic demon and got the Black Light Path's special evolution point, used only for its skills and power. I was satisfied. I gained the Black Light Path's evolution, boosting my life restoration speed, and got the biotic demon's cellular regeneration skill. I was shocked to see I could regenerate severed body parts with my strength or other powers. I checked its effects and was amazed it could regenerate broken cells. I wanted to explore the nightmare-level treasure trove. I saw 3 gold-colored pieces of equipment. As sunset neared, a girl I met took me to a couple's hotel, changing clothes and asking if I was satisfied. I chose a well-behaved beast girl set. After defeating the biohuman, I got 3 rewards. The first was collecting biohuman specialized scrolls. When I walked in, I realized that the pipe can actually absorb lives to grow. I have the SS and the Black Light virus. I swiftly used a genetic essence vial. Odd had dropped some leather gear, and I noticed a book called Cellular Revitalization. I told him I didn't need it since I already had a better version. I planned to trade it in the chat room later. After that, I prepared to leave, planning to give Boss's body to Rido for transformation. Just as I was about to go, I reconsidered my decision to hand over Boss's body to Rado for transformation. I thought he'd be pleased I finished quickly, but then I remembered his name, the god of goblins and trade. It wasn't simple. Rido wasn't just wandering. He had a reason to be here. He mentioned me as an accidental harvest. Maybe he wanted a special copy. I found nothing valuable, but a divine projection must be worth a lot. Was there something I missed? I went to the incinerator door, the only unexplored spot, and found nothing special. Then, I came to a pipe and decided to climb up to not miss a message. I discovered this was a very special copy. It stretched far beyond the room's length, and in an instant, I found myself at the very bottom. Staring at the empty pipe, I thought to myself, this situation doesn't seem right at all. I gave a knock, and suddenly, a golden mask appeared before me. It was a toy, yet so unique that even Zeus would struggle to describe it. The question mark made me ponder if it had a connection to the gods. I quickly realized I couldn't truly see it, but it somehow felt positive. I understood it was Rado's intention, so I decided to hold on to it. I left my father's house, and my sister, who had watched my video, was filled with excitement. She remarked that it was incredibly powerful. I asked for coins to unlock the warehouse. If I had a coin for every single view, there would be a great many people watching. The warehouse, restocked by Zeus, had hidden the tools quite well, so I had no choice but to return to the villa later. The girl inquired if I was planning to go back, and I mentioned that the night might be dangerous. We needed a place to stay. She proposed high-rise hotels near the school, suggesting they'd be safer on the upper floors. I agreed with her idea. She guided us to a vibrant hotel close to Zhangcheng University. We opted for a room named Versatile and Seductive. She changed into different outfits, but I wasn't really fond of them. She assumed I disliked them, but it was just that particular one. She tried several more, yet none appealed to me. I asked if there was anything more interesting here. Finally, he dressed as an animal girl and asked if I liked it. I thought it wasn't bad and told him to be a little pet tonight. After many battles, the girl fell asleep. I dressed up, opened the warehouse, and stored the mask. Then, it was time for the mission's final part. I tossed the coins Rido gave me, summoning goblins and trade gods. I couldn't take it anymore. My harem had a smooth-talking lawyer, and I was eager to see his skills. As I tossed the coins to summon the gods of the deal, I recalled the saying that emotions are part of the bargaining chip with Rido. Rido adjusts rewards based on the emotions of the person he's dealing with, but only if that person is valuable enough. Rido sees me as an expert in trading and deals, and I got the best out of him. But when I saw the task, I was shocked it needed 2 SSS levels. I was shocked he was summoned quickly, and had already completed it, proving himself. I threw the piece of meat I had, part of the creature's body, in the task. Rido looked at the dry, flat, blackened meat, silent, as it seemed long dead. I thought you completed it yesterday. In response to Raito's question, I began my performance, wondering why you, so revered, hid the difficulty of that side quest. I didn't realize it was a nightmare until I entered, and without means, it could have been fatal. Raito said he understood my actions, would explain, and added it was part of the test, as one cannot hand over such a treasure oneself. I couldn't hand it over. To a man who couldn't handle the accident, I had nothing else to say. After asking about the mission's reward and the next mission, Raito said it was his fault for not sharing the info, and I had shown my strength. The mission's reward would be my choice, and the next mission would be the last one. The reward was capped at the price of the highest quality level B item. I made my choice, and with a snap of Raito's fingers, blue cards surrounded me, dazzling me with toys. Soon, I chose a drawing of a rewinding reel. Raito complimented me for being savvy, and then announced the final mission stage. The career scroll indicated this mission was too tough. Even a god isn't born with an S-level career. As the god of trade, he understood this. Raito's initial career was just level 1, but it was his greatest treasure. He hoped to reach the best place. Otherwise, it would be hard for him to abandon his love for health and strength. I can't continue. I must accept this extremely tough mission. At this moment, a mutated giant rat appeared in the East Mountain Villa, causing chaos. Song Tzu-Chuen and others couldn't fight it, and the 2 teams they sent were all killed. They couldn't handle a creature with much higher properties, but someone needed to stay and watch its actions. Strength. The gap with the giant rats made it impossible to move or retreat. As they discussed, the rats attacked again. At this critical moment I appeared, striking the rats down and stopping their attack. Song Zipu was surprised to see me. Seeing their sorry state and the damaged enclosure, I knew I arrived just in time. I instructed Leng Frost to gather the fallen. I asked Song Zi to explain what happened. I returned to the villa and learned that the giant rats had appeared, destroying 6 warehouses with over 100 casualties. The men were exhausted. I said I'd handle the rest and find the origin. Song Zi was relieved, and they all rested. He let Lin Yu in, saying he was rescued during the villa cleanup, knew me for a long time, was a lawyer, and could help make rules, willing to join me. I let Qin Lin Yu stay. The rest went to the clinic. Lin Yu knew what to do, just needed instructions. I've heard you're all great talkers. Let me see your eloquence. You'll die if you touch the poisonous air, but I enjoy it. It's heaven for me. Every step gives me new abilities to absorb poisons. After rewarding Qin Ling Yu, satisfied by his eloquence, I asked him to the window to discuss rules, but before I finish, he seems ready. The gesture stopped me in my tracks. Did you hear what I said? It was only then that Qin Ling Yu realized he had judged where his focus was. His ability increased thinking speed and sensory, but it ignored outside information. I called him over to take a look at the 3 zones in Eastern Mountain, to observe the villas, and to think about the needs of each zone. He realized he needed different rules for each one. Qin Ling Yu asked if there were any more requests. I replied that I was fine, genuinely impressed by his sensory focus. He understood. With his hands placed on the window, he was prepared. He skipped over the dull part, and the following morning, I led a group to a water supply outlet. From the building plans I studied yesterday and the mutated rats, I discovered this location. Inside, I found the nest of the mutated rats. While I can easily clean it up myself, my goal is to cultivate trustworthy and reliable men who can protect you if I ever cease to be the strongest protector of the people. That's why I'm choosing you to elevate you to the mainstay of the villa. I heard some men call me master, which made me uncomfortable, so I told them to call me Brother White from now on. After I spoke, the crowd grew excited. I went alone to the rail at the outlet and, with a thunderous wave of my hand, tore it like paper. Then, a pop-up prompted me to trigger a special mission. Instantly, we all received the mission to kill all the mutated rats and mice and investigate the source of their swarming. Then, as I led the group to begin exploring the waterway, I noticed a scene ahead and immediately waved my hand to halt. Suddenly, a swarm of mutated rats came rushing in. I was shocked to see so many mutated rats and quickly assumed a fighting stance. We all followed suit, making sure to finish off any that weren't dead. Everywhere we went, there were mutated rat corpses, and we had already cleared about a dozen pipe lengths. Then, a man shouted from the front, "There's another one!" Song Zi Dome was eager to show off, so I reminded him to use his skills to assess the situation first. However, when Song Zi Dome activated his cave crystals, he discovered it wasn't just any mutation art, but a level 7 boss, which prevented him from checking its specific attributes, as bosses have basic attributes he couldn't handle. I was unable to attack. After examining the corpse for a while, I concluded the plague virus was the source. I killed boss with one hit, glanced at Song Zixiong beside me, and was told to drop a piece of equipment. Clicking on the plague boots, I realized it was equipment too. After this scene, I led the group through several corners without finding rats, then instructed them to stop. A reminder appeared about the first virus absorption, something I'd never seen. While absorbing viruses in the sewage wasn't unusual, the fact we absorbed viruses not found on pre-test Earth in such hazardous quantities for evolutions made it clear the mutation source was near. So it was me. I told the men to stop exploring and return. It intrigued me more. With each step, virus points grew. I wondered about finding the source. Soon, I reached the end. A hell to others, heaven to me. At the source, I found a dead body. My first mission gave me a chance to become a god. If I became a god of plague, I could avenge Hercules. In the pipe depths, my virus points grew stronger. Soon, I found a dragon's body, intensely plagued. After examining it, I concluded the plague's source was a corpse, a god of plague. Then I took the scroll from the corpse's hand and realized it wasn't a tool. There were no instructions, and I hadn't heard of it or the cult of plague. But I sensed that absorbing the virus would boost my powers, and as I started, they went out of control, and the virus moved to my hands. I was prompted to complete a mission to become the host of the Shimizu channel and receive the strength of flesh and blood. Right after, a mark, the seal of plague, appeared on my palm, proving I was a core member of the cult. I was then prompted to issue another mission, a SSS level mission. Hercules. Revenge qualifications were essential. Suddenly, a side book appeared, opening a portal to hell. This challenge was even tougher than Nightmare and Incineration Furnace. Fortunately, it took a month to form, giving us time to get stronger and try again. Songzi Dome discovered that the East Mountain Waterway side book was ready, with a normal difficulty level, offering 3 practice attempts daily. Sung was relieved when I returned and called others to practice, since only 3 chances were available each day. 2.5 hours later, with all the villa men gathered, I advised entering in groups of 4 or 8 to maximize gains. Sung and his group, whom I had initially planned to join but decided to let handle it themselves, saw I was ready to tackle it, and the number meant becoming involved. I invited a few to join my chat group. I told him not to be surprised, as I was the White Emperor. Song asked why he wasn't invited, and I said it was my harem, only for loyal and capable people. A girl scared by a corpse wasn't invited. Thinking of this, now that he has grown up, I quickly got the necessary equipment for him to pick and place it in the copybook for checking. Soon after, when I led them to the place, Song took charge, saying he could solve it. It was his first remark. I inquired Luli about their abilities, and she demonstrated her level B illusion phase, which creates illusions from imagination, though not very useful in combat. Song's talent is at level C, enhancing intelligence by 50% through experience and skill. Yet, I believe that Song's growth talent isn't as beneficial in battles as Lu Li's. Then, after dealing with 3 rats, I'm not trying to join your group. Song looked satisfied. I'm just proving myself and respect your decision that these rats were weaker than the initial power loss. Song hesitantly said he wanted to join your effort to join my harem, unsatisfied. I'll make an exception a hard time and allow you to join. Songzi came to help, saying his daughter wanted to join him and was upset I introduced him to Shinling Yu earlier. I wouldn't tease him, but for your mother's sake, accept the invite. Whenever Brother Song joined my group, he smiled happily. Seeing him proud, Songzi Dome explained his daughter was just tough and promised after finishing the copies and returning to the villa, she'd be good and call him father. But I didn't expect Songzi Dome to send his daughter so firmly. Yet Songzi Dome was happy to see him, as the world was changing, and his child never had enough to eat growing up. Having a father like me would be amazing. It's clothing that lets you become anyone, like Sister Jade or Rory. Now, the Queen of Jiangcheng will dress up and give me her daughter. I just reposted my clearance video, and the waking men were shocked at my speed. Some didn't even have a copy. Some awakened haven't seen the book copy. I set the pass content to 10 to 10. The blue-haired girl at the hotel was depressed by the women around me, but felt I was strong after seeing the video. I instantly killed bosses, and those with me fought skillfully under my guidance. She wished to be with me and learn from me. Others feel differently. Some people mentioned that I wasn't particularly strong, but rather a bit luckier. My teammate quickly denied the claim that he couldn't defeat Po in mere seconds, even though he possessed level S talent. Meanwhile, at Song Zixiong's villa, I guided him to establish an economy and trade in equipment, as we would receive a book copy after clearing customs. Later, I retrieved the equipment I had dropped and handed them over to you. You should grasp the significance of these items. When Song Zixiong laid eyes on these items, his eyes widened in surprise. The first item is named Strength of Flesh and Blood. It's a material for a wall that can absorb flesh and blood to grow. It's more robust than any current walls and has a strong deterrent effect when used properly. The second item is a return scroll. When I noticed the third item, Song Tzuchuan's face was freshly cleaned. Its effect was to enhance his figure, allowing transformation into any external appearance of equipment. You are the master of everything, and this attire, which will be pleasing to you, is the most crucial aspect. As I gazed at Song Zidome in my arms, I mentioned that I wasn't very knowledgeable about women's attire, and wondered if you could offer me a pleasant surprise. Song Zidome appeared so shy and indeed surprised, yet not entirely. I mentioned that I would arrange for my brother to meet Papa formally, and said that Papa would ensure Song was dressed appropriately. His bed was an impressive 10 meters wide. Not only Song, but the rest of the group is sleeping here. After a tough battle, I get up, put on my plague robe, and now have 2 pieces of the set. If I get equipment to drop in each of my 3 daily chances, I'll have the whole set in 3 days. Then, I get a chat invite from Dream, who saw my attack videos and wants guidance. I reply that to know more about me, I need to know about him. If he doesn't want to reveal skills, he can share attributes to improve combat skills. Dream quickly agrees. In my past life, I hadn't heard of Dream, but anyone in the chat group must be a pioneer, so his skills should be decent. His talent was SS. It's impossible for an S-class supernatural being, capable of unlimited growth, to have such a gift. In his last life, he met with the Dream, which told me about his gift's effects. The Dream Butterfly could enter the same dream world as the real one, and others' dream worlds. It could adjust anything in the dream world, but currently, it could do very little. The Red Dream created a dream map to invite others in, serving as an invitation. After seeing his abilities, I didn't realize his power unless he remained hidden. The Dream was about to send me a dreamscape in a picture, but I hesitated, lacking guarantees in his dream world. Then he offered to sign an evolutionary contract, promising no harm to me. Zeus. The contract for acknowledgement would cost 10 gold coins. I wondered why he'd seek my advice if he had that money. He explained that monsters he killed in dreams also died in reality, and he could reveal them through dreams. He offered 2 skill books as a reward. I sighed, realizing his dream power rivaled the Poison Monarch. Dream admitted he was strong in dreams but weak in reality, fearing he'd die without improving his skills. I agreed, as his power didn't enhance his physical state. I asked for the evolutionary contract, and since he would sign it, I couldn't refuse. Being strong, I needed him at the wiki, and he'd send it quickly. Excuse me. I returned to my room and took a moment to watch the dream tent for about 3 minutes. After finishing, I pondered. If his powers were truly so immense that he could see and enter dreams, it was hard for me to believe their fear. I ventured into a dream and found myself in an unfamiliar place with a stranger. Then, in a setting that was new to me, a sister with pink hair appeared. She said, "Hello, Master White. I made a contract to eliminate the Virgin by sunset. Someone has intruded into my territory, causing chaos, and using my name among classmates. Those who break the rules must be eliminated." As another person sought my advice, I entered his dream space and came to the realization that I wasn't alone in the world. After we finished our introductions, I mentioned that this setting wasn't suitable for combat training. Dream set aside his toy and agreed, saying it wasn't meant for training. Then, he opened a portal and mentioned that he had cleaned up a gym. I took a peek inside and was completely amazed by the vastness of Dream's world. The gym appeared to be in town, but Dream explained that it existed independently from our reality. As a dreamer, he had the ability to enter and modify it. His explorations revealed that dreams should reflect reality, and his insight was enlightening to me. I stepped through the portal with Dream into this dream world. We arrived at a gym that was quite dark, and Dream mentioned that it needed some light. As his voice softened, the entire court lit up brilliantly, and then I felt neutral about his command. Dream said he wrote novels before the end. I told him the best way to boost combat power in the real world was to fight, letting him attack without using Dream World powers, so I could gauge Dream's combat level. Dream said his Dream World attributes would match his spiritual power, which had 2 points, one not like the other, so he should be careful. 48 points, be cautious, Lord of the Cluster. Even so, I didn't take it seriously, and let the Dream hit me full force. Dream clenched his fist and charged, but I dodged it easily as a casual saint. Your center is unstable, you can put it out, but not take it in. Dream was embarrassed, then started throwing punches, missing me, and asked, "Are you what they say you are?" I chanted, "So you're the rumored king of 5-year-old boxing?" After that, I gave him some pointers while dodging. First, control your focus. A punch that doesn't return is weak. Second, target your aim. Know where you'll hit, not just hit. Third, Watch your opponent, not yourself. After observing for a few minutes, I understood Dream's level and told him to remember these points, mentioning I used only 20% of my power and he could handle it. Dream felt embarrassed, but I told him to practice hard and improve. With my guidance, Dream found direction and promised to work hard. After 2.5 days, Song Zipu informed me all Dongshan rules were posted, and someone explained them to the public, clearing up the Dongshan settlement. I've also tidied up around Dongshan. He mentioned that it wasn't about money, but rather, it was your responsibility. I'll entrust the management of this place to you and depart early tomorrow morning. Hearing this, Song Zipu was quite taken aback by the news of his early departure. Upon learning this, I instructed Song to gather the rest of the group for a meeting that evening to discuss strategies for poisoning the outlets. After a lengthy night of discussions, I finally managed to resolve this challenging issue, which is not simple to monitor. The next morning, when it was time for a quick dance, Song and his group were still chatting and grinding their teeth. I had already dressed and risen early, when a man waiting outside the house approached me. He said he came to see me, mentioning there were some people at the foot of the mountain and that I would be a valuable friend to him, but I couldn't grasp why such a minor issue was reported to me, as the East Mountain rules were clear. Couldn't you follow them? The sister mentioned the men were controlled, but one claimed to be your classmate, and we hesitated to act. I told him to ease up, wanting to see which classmate was so bold. Soon, I reached the villa's foothill on East Mountain. One allied with the others, pointing at me saying, "Chen Bai is coming." My sister said these people aren't satisfied with the daily coin and want to exploit the guards and colony without paying. Seeing me, he quickly told me he's Li Chen, whom I've heard of. Our rules don't allow killing for a coin. Even if you can't kill, bow, and there are wages to earn. He said it's not about money. The end is approaching, and it's crucial that we all support one another. If you are able to, please offer assistance to everyone you can right now. Trust me, my counselor Daisy, and the world in this matter. It's important to abolish this rule for expressing gratitude. I won't spend my time on those who don't appreciate it. Listen carefully. If you can't handle this, it's best to leave now. In 3 minutes, you will face the consequences, whether you choose to upgrade or not. The upgrade enhances your body strength without altering your appearance, making it very user-friendly. With the new applause and heavy hammer, I acquired a shield. When a riot erupted, I firmly stated, "Follow the rules or leave in 3 minutes." That's the rule we adhere to. Then I instructed Cold Frost to calculate. What do you need? You have 3 minutes. If you're willing, I'll stay. I'm doing this for everyone. Support me, and I'll thank our security for not slacking. A coin isn't a burden here. Those who won't give it are selfish, and we won't protect them. The guards cursed them all day, couldn't even kill a corpse. If you're not trash, what are you? Can't earn a coin? Be my doorman and help me. Can't earn 1 coin? Work as my janitor for 2 coins. Li Chen was speechless, looking like he'd eaten shit. I'm not joining this hell. You'll regret it and kick me out. I said, hold on. Li Chen thought I'd regret it quickly. The others felt the same. They didn't think I'd act against Li Chen, but I struck with bloody claws. You're right. I regret letting a bully escape. Leng Frost reminded them of 1 minute left. If unfit, beg for forgiveness. I'm willing to follow the rules here and accept punishment for my trouble. Please, give me a chance. I'm reasonable, you're smart. After a month, the 5 coins were normal, and others begged for forgiveness. We accept punishment. Please give us a chance. I left the rest to Cold Frost, the cook. As I walked away, I got a message from Dream, complaining about me, wanting to improve in reality. When she could, she'd return to me. When she found I was in Jiangcheng and she was in Chang, I said, come back to me if you want. If you want to follow me, I can pick you up. In my past life, I was in Wuchang when I got my Class S job. Though not Class SSS, it was enough to trade for materials or information. So, I decided to head to Wuchang first. Meanwhile, in a Zhangcheng hotel, a few people were hiding with only 3 days of food left. Zhang Luoping complained about a zombie killing 5 of them at once. The zombie was not only deadly but could detect anyone on the stone floor, making escape through the back door impossible. The others felt trapped. Suddenly, a sister pointed out a fast-moving shadow on the city roof. Chang Luoping felt uneasy. What is it? It was just a shadow. It couldn't be a new special creature. It can't be a new species. Zombie bar. Seeing the shadow fly and walk on walls, Chang Luoping felt it was too dangerous, ready to close the curtains. Guards calmed him, saying it seemed human, though some doubted such powers. Guards warned, never touch, remember my powers. Suddenly, Wei saw the figure nearing their group. My position wasn't high, and it was a plainclothes zombie. Seeing it was a tyrant excited me. I needed a tyrant's bone for equipment. I considered using the saw hammer but worried about bone integrity. Instead, I decided to decapitate it. Only Wei Shuwei had the power. Shocked by what they saw, they fought. and the man turned into claws. Hearing this, Luo Ping was sure it was a monster, as no human turns into claws. Suddenly, Wei Shiwei was surprised to see the man kill the monster and absorb it. After absorbing the tyrant, I, the black light virus, gained new muscle enhancement and a shield, enhancing any body part. Unlike other forms, the shield's defense is twice as strong. Then Wei Shiwei saw the unbelievable. I saw my face and realized it was me. I called my name when I heard someone shouting for me. I looked up and said my evolutionary number, shocking my former classmates. They couldn't believe they once robbed themselves of their pickle-making business. It was the editorial board that made up my name. They couldn't believe they lost their bubble water-making career. The first awakened one of 01. After dealing with the tyrant, I heard someone calling my name. Looking up, I saw it was Chang Lo Ping who stopped Wei Shiwei. How can you be sure he's the one you know? What if he's a monster in disguise? My sister agreed, saying he killed the monster who plagued us. Suddenly, a shadow appeared at the window. Is anyone inside? Was it you calling me? The Defenders Alliance replied. It's me. I'm with the Defenders Alliance, hanging from a high building. I'm Song's best friend. I entered their room and said I was at East Mountain Villa. I've established a colony where hundreds of people are now residing, and Song Tzuxiong is assisting me in managing the colony, ensuring Song's utmost safety. Wei Shiwei was overjoyed upon hearing my words. However, the others found it hard to believe that there were still hundreds of people within the colony. Even more astonishing to them was the fact that the Queen of Jiangcheng was aiding me in its management. Suddenly, the door to the room swung open, revealing one of my classmates. He was taken aback to see me here, with two of my roommates standing right behind me. They had just heard my name and were thrilled to see me. I was equally astonished to see them all gathered here. Lin Kaizhong explained to me that on the day of the advent, Chang Luoping had taken numerous students out for a play date to support the efforts of the school's flower girl. He had brought along many students to join him in play. Zhao Mu was eager for me to join him, but Li Feng assumed I was occupied with other matters. I inquired whether a significant number of students from Jiangnan University were planning to visit East Mountain Villa, especially considering the daily coin fee involved. I had my doubts about their willingness to go, given the issues they'd faced in the past. Some mentioned they would have considered going if it weren't for the monster, the coins, and the search for gold. The path was perilous, and they sought my guidance. I declined, explaining I had other responsibilities, and emphasizing that the tyrant was not an ordinary foe. Eventually, they realized their error in judgment. I then demonstrated some equipment that was not necessary, and they were truly impressed by the quality of my low-grade work. I told them I was in a hurry, and since you knew the colony's location, I left, waved to old classmates, and went. Then, like Spider-Man, I moved through the city when Dream sent a chat saying a girl in the group mentioned you called me, and I was... This is the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and comment for the next part. Thank you for watching.